Welcome back to Steadfast Catholic for our daily reflection entitled The Way God Meets Us. Today I want to share something a little bit more personal with you. Not a teaching, not a quote, but a piece of my story, the quiet way God has shaped my life over the years. I grew up in Michigan in a world that looked ordinary from the outside, but carried its own challenges. I learned how to work hard, how to lead, how to shoulder responsibility, and how to keep going even when life felt heavy. Even before I understood the fullness of faith, I always sensed something in the background, a presence, a gentle pull guiding me forward. A big part of that came from my grandmother. She was my icon of faith long before I knew what that even meant. And she lived her devotion quietly, consistently, without any grand speeches or theatrics. There was something about the way that she prayed, the way that she held herself in church, the way she remained loyal to my grandfather's memory for decades after he had passed. She taught me that. She showed me what steadfast love looks like, what commitment looks like, what a lifetime of faithfulness looks like. She wasn't a theologian. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She simply walked with God every day of her life. And when I think of my own faith today, her influence is unmistakable. She showed me that holiness often looks like ordinary fidelity, quiet prayers, small sacrifices, a life lived with integrity. And even as life carried me far from home into work, leadership, long nights, anxiety, everything in between, her example remained one of the few things that never left me. God used her steadiness to anchor me. He used my experiences to strengthen me. He used my solitude to soften me. And he used every job, every loss, every move, every unexpected turn to teach me endurance, compassion, and resilience. And somewhere along the way, I began to sense him in places I didn't expect. In the sunlight on my walls, in the blue glow of my monitors late at night when I'm working, in the quiet of my office, behind my eyelids when I close them in prayer. I didn't choose the Catholic faith because it was trendy or exciting. I came home to it because it felt like the truth. And because it felt like the same presence I had felt since childhood. And because it felt like the kind of faith my grandmother lived with such quiet strength that I could very easily make myself home or feel at home. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I'm not a perfect follower. I'm just someone who meets God in ordinary places, and someone who trusts that he's been guiding my steps longer than I realized. And that's why I started Steadfast Catholic. Not to be impressive, not to perform, but to share the real experience of walking with God in the middle of normal and imperfect life. So today's reflection is this: God doesn't waste your story. He writes through it. He uses the examples that came before you. He uses the wounds that humbled you. He uses the responsibilities that shaped you. He uses the quiet moments that opened your heart to him. If you are listening today, maybe he's inviting you to look at your own story with gentler eyes, to see how he has been leading you. Sometimes through the most ordinary people in your life. You could have put them there to lead you out and back to Him. People like my grandmother, people who didn't preach loudly but lived faithfully, and people whose quiet devotion becomes the light that guides us years later. May we honor all the ones who taught us how to love God by living our own faith with the same quiet strength. Thank you for spending this time with me. If today's reflection spoke to your heart, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more daily encouragement. May God bless you and keep you, and may you remain steadfast in your walk with Him. This is Lux from Steadfast Catholic, and I will see you in the next.